Last month, I severed 3 nerves in my left pinky while using a circular blade. It was just a little slip, and boom, blood flowed for 11 hours before emergency could clot it enough to glue my finger back together. Now, I do understand that if using an incredibly sharp object, there is an inherent risk in getting cut by said sharp object. And yeah, I guess I could have had more blade control at that exact moment. But the bottom line is, it just happened. Also recently, just a few days ago, I dropped my keys just before I crossed the street, and thus I missed the taxi running the red light, and I didn't get hit. How mundane. Now, I'm sure at the time there was a reason that I dropped my keys, but there's not really an explanation for the whole event. It's just this, series of situations and this web of circumstance and content. And we can argue about probable causality ad nausea, but this is such an extremely complex system that there's not really a practical explanation. So I slice my finger, I drop my keys, an orange comes out of my hair. Welcome to the cosmos. Now, of course, there are many, many things that we can understand and explain, and it's a repeated predictability that guides all of our scientific structures, and not to mention our everyday lives. On the other end of the spectrum, though, there are these things that we cannot yet explain and we cannot fully comprehend. Of course, there is that crossroads where what we thought was impossible becomes possible, but there's also a gray area very close to that. And as a magician, I spend a lot of time there. Magic. Magic is when the impossible is possible. But of course, by that definition, magic can't be real because the impossible, by nature of being impossible, can't be possible. But that's why it's my job as a magician to create the illusion that the magic is happening. It's my job as a magician to present you with a moment where what is, isn't. And similarly, it's my job to present you with a moment where what isn't, is. You see, a magic trick presents a very fair, very real situation where you think you know the score, and then it shatters your certainty. You saw that there weren't any oranges in my hair, and yet, out came an orange. But this is real hair, and this is a real orange, so the situation is based in reality, but it didn't follow the rules. Like what's happening right now. When you peel an orange, well, sometimes you just get a lemon. Thank you. But I think in addition to being surprising and awesome, magic also serves as a very powerful reality check. Because there's always this sort of uneasiness and uncertainty that exists in our everyday lives because these seemingly arbitrary, illogical things happen for which we cannot find a clear-cut explanation. And with magic, you're facing that head on. You can't deny the fact that you saw my scarf present one moment and saw that it had vanished the next. That doesn't fit with our familiar conception of how the world works. But remember, I said magic is a reality check. So there is so much that is unknown, and there is so much that we can't really expect what's going to happen next. With magic, you can't expect the next series of situations. Of course, it's natural to want to try to understand and predict and control these things because it's within our nature as humans to push the boundaries of our rationality. So that's why it's especially difficult to digest it's the cosmos, stuff just happens. I mean, it's definitely difficult for me to digest that, but I think that's also partially because I'm a great fretter. I'm not a worrier. No, to worry, I will tell you, to worry is to feel or express anxiety. But I'm not worrying, I'm fretting. To fret is to feel agitated, irritated. I'm sure this whole dictionary thing, though, also lets you know that I'm really interested in precision. Precision, to be precise. Precise, to be definite. highly accurate. So I'm not worrying, I'm not anxious, I'm fretting. I'm agitated and I'm irritated and I'm itching for answers, but things just appear to coincide in a way without any rhyme or reason that I can predict or control. Like I said, it's within our nature to try because we want to be prepared and we want to be capable of confronting things as they come up. But that's why it's so frustrating when things can seem so random. Random, lacking definite method. Definite, if you recall, is the definition of precise. Do you sense the tension here? But since things do seem to happen arbitrarily, and since we do have to try to come to terms with that, I'd like to present a challenge. A challenge to myself, and also a challenge to what can be seen as cosmic randomness. So we've never met before. Here, what's your name?
Sebastian.
Sebastian, hello. Now you're in the front row. I'm going to have you pass this dictionary to someone who you do not know. Someone right here. And what's your name?
Goebel.
I'm sorry?
Goebel.
Goebel. Okay. So you saw my little bookmark here, Los Angeles. That's where I'm from. I'd like you to think of any city just right off the top of your head, maybe someplace you've been, where you're from, where you want to go, and just picture it. I want you just to picture it in that little postcard space right there, okay? Got that? He's thinking. That's good. This says a lot about you. Okay, just focus on that. Huh. Okay, Goebel, for the first time, I would like you to name the city you were just thinking of, please. San Francisco. Okay, why don't you pass the dictionary to someone who you don't know, okay? Just pass it to someone you don't know. Maybe someone who's not holding up a camera. You got it there? He passed it to you. Oh, he knows you. Okay. Can you pass it to someone who you don't know, maybe? Sure. And what's your name? Alex. And we've never met before. Correct. Now, Alex, I'd like you to think of the name of a friend or someone who might come up in your caller ID or something like that. We're going to go personal here. So just think of that for a second. Okay. Wait a minute. Are you thinking of a friend's name too? Right there, were you thinking of a friend's name? Yeah? No? Were you? Someone was right there. Were you also? Yeah? Okay, please stop for a second, though, because you're kind of interfering with me and Alec here. Yeah, I thought that felt wrong. Hang on. Okay, Alec, please refocus on that name that you're thinking of. Right here, think about that. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's see. Please, in just a second, I would like you now to name the name that you were just thinking of. Abby. You know, why don't you pass the dictionary to a girl who you don't know? Maybe somewhere around over here? Here, okay. All right. Now, actually, you know what? Would you be able to come right up front? What's your name? Anna. Anna? Anna, would you give a big round of applause for Anna as she makes her way down here? Very cool. Okay, Anna, if you just come stand right here where the light is good, you can just stay, hello. Would you mind standing right down there, though, for me, please?
Okay, sure.
Can we stand right down there?
I'll write down.
Thank you. Yeah, we've got camera things here. Anyway, would you please take a look through that dictionary and just make sure that the top word on every page is different. It's not like nothing weird or anything. Now, Alec, you were thinking of Abby. What name were you thinking of? Abby. You were thinking of something too. Victoria. Okay. And Anna, do you look on both pages? Make sure that you really check that out.
Like every page?
Yeah. I mean, I want you to be confident that there's nothing funky going on here.
It's going to take some time, though.
Okay. But I just want you to feel comfortable with that. No, this is good. This is like thoroughness. You feel good about it?
Yeah.
Okay. If you'd face me, we're going to try something a little bit different here. I want to go into the subconscious. I want you to hold that dictionary between your hands. When you inhale, face me, please. When you inhale, I want you to just focus. And when you exhale, think of nothing. Inhale. Exhale. Oh, very clear impression. Very cool. Would you say you're into like blood and guts or like cemeteries or no? Nothing like. Okay, that's okay. I'm gonna stick with this. I'm gonna stick with this. It's kind of a weird word. Okay, that's okay. Here's what's gonna happen now. Abby, I'd like you to hand me that dictionary, and I'm just gonna thumb through it, and I just want you to tell me stop anywhere, and the page you choose is the one that we'll use. Okay, so just tell me stop.
Stop.
Right there?
Yes.
And do you want to change your mind? Are you satisfied with that?
Yes.
This is it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to have you just read the top word on that page right there.
It's morbid.
What? Can you say that out loud?
Same word. Morbid.
Morbid?
Morbid.
Morbid? Ladies and gentlemen, she selected, Anna selected morbid. Yes. Thank you. And how about a big round of applause for her? She makes her way back to her seat. You can take your seat. Thank you so much. Look at that. Morbid. A few of you don't look too impressed. You're thinking, Krystyn, isn't this that whole cosmic randomness thing that you've been talking about? And yes, that is what I've been talking about. But here's where the ingenuity of a rational being comes into play. All right, so you thought of any city. You thought of any city, and yet you thought of, let's see, got so many pieces of paper here. You thought of any city at random, and you thought of San Francisco. Yeah. And now, okay, we know that Anna, obviously, she thought of the word morbid. Okay, you thought of San Francisco, and we went for names, which is the hardest thing. And you were thinking something, too. You were thinking of Victoria, but that's wrong, because Alex was thinking Abby. Ladies and gentlemen, the cosmos is a very interesting place. Now, I know that there are a lot of you probably watching for whom the whole things just happen is simply not enough. And I'm sure that there are a lot of you who are like me and are itching for explanations. But I have to ask, if things didn't irritate us because we couldn't understand or control them, if those things just weren't there, where would be our cause to wonder? Where would the excitement be? Because we live in this ever-expanding universe with billions of stars and trillions of planets, not to mention the conceptual vastness of planet Earth alone. And there is so much that we probably will never be able to comprehend. But I think that it's those larger burning questions that can serve as a springboard for things that we can begin to understand. And wouldn't it be boring if we didn't try? Saying boring makes me think back to the taxi cab incident that I described as mundane. Mundane, and yet I've been thinking about it for days. Because I think sometimes the most fascinating things are the things that are the most mundane. You look a little skeptical there, and that's understandable, because when you think mundane, you think boring, monotony, tedium. But my little Webster's Dictionary says that mundane is pertaining to or of the world. And I think, as we've established through this TED Talk, this whole TED conference alone, the world is a pretty crazy place. So even in the things that we think of as most typical, I think it's important to take a closer look, because what you find just might surprise you, and it might just make you wonder why. And in that golden question, more than anything, I think there's life.